Ready? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And a very warm welcome, and thank you all for braving the storm and everything. So lovely to see you all here. Great delight to welcome back to our platform the lovely Elaine Bevan, who is not only an excellent demonstrator, a reverend, medium philosopher, but she's also a very good friend. So Elaine, thank you. Looking forward to today.
Thank you.
Quick reminder, everybody, please, mobile phones off during the service. That would be wonderful. Thank you. And without further ado, if I could invite Elaine for the opening blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in and bringing your warmth and your love, because it's your energy we work with. The spirit world don't sit here waiting for the medium to come. They wait for you. So thank you for being here. Now let us bring our hearts and minds together and ask that the divine source that we know as God blends the two worlds once more together. Divine and creative force that we call God, as we come together in this sanctuary of love and learning, we ask that you enable each one of us to play a part in the upliftment of humanity in the future. It may be that our part will be small, but we know that it will make a difference, for it will bring more light, more love and compassion into someone's life. We know too you are fully aware of the traumas in this world, and we ask for healing in the countries that are suffering. Bring some form of peace and compassion into the lives of the people most affected. And always, dear friend, we ask a blessing on those who work in your churches, your sanctuaries, your groups, for we know they are working towards bringing more light, more understanding, and more awareness into the consciousness of mankind. And now we hand this service into your care, asking that once more we enjoy the company of our loved ones through your love, your truth, and your light. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Elaine. Beautiful. And now, if you care to, please join in with saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not when in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. Thank you. Before we go to the healing part of the service, we're going to mark that this is the second Sunday of Advent by the lighting of the Advent candles. And the second candle is the one for peace, which seems incredibly appropriate for our world at this time. There is a secondary meaning to the second Advent candle as well. It's to mark the start of the journey to Bethlehem. But we as spiritualists, we can take that from it as well, the start of our journey. Because each and every day we have a new life, do we not? When we wake up in the morning, yesterday's gone, tomorrow's unknown, today. So each and every day we can start our new journey. It is never too late to put behind that which doesn't serve us anymore, and to hold on to that which helps us grow, flourish, and nurture ourselves and others. So thank you. So moving into that healing time, this time when we can all come together in our collective energy, for each and every one of us are healers. Each and every one of us can express our love. And love is healing, and healing is love. It is as simple as that. So during this time, we invite you to send out those thoughts to wherever you are drawn. be it countries, nations, ourselves, friends, family, it matters not. You follow your heart. We also invite you during this time, if there is anybody in particular you would like mentioned, simply raise your hand, and when I point to you, just call out their name. That is all that is required. The intelligence of spirit knows and understands, and we trust in that knowledge. So enjoy this time now of peacefulness, of meditation, and of healing. Thank you. Divine and infinite Spirit, God of our own understandings, we thank you for this time of healing, this time of oneness with nature and creation, to exert that influence, exert that power, exert that divine gift which resides within us all, to be able to heal, be it by thought, by word, by deed. When we heal, we act in your love and reflect the love that shines from us truly. Amen. Now I'd like to invite the lovely Elaine for her reading and philosophy. Thank you.
I've been prompted to bring one of my favourite books. It's called Rays of the Dawn, Natural Laws of the Body, Mind and Soul, and it's by an American philosopher, Dr. Thurman Fleet. And the Spirit World drew my attention to a chapter entitled Love, and I want to share 4 paragraphs from that chapter. Love is the most powerful spiritual force in the world. It embraces within its spheres of radiation all the other positive soul qualities, such as faith, hope, charity, kindness, patience, sympathy, forgiveness, unselfishness, and courage. Love is the expression of the divine through the medium of the human soul. It constitutes the most vital energy required for our own spiritual advancement. The further we advance in the scale of evolution, the more spontaneous and far-reaching will be our expression of love. Love is absolutely unselfish and never binds its object. If our love is pure, we release the selfish ties that bind and give our loved one whether on the earth or having passed beyond, the freedom to advance as nature guides, or to go and come in response to duty or the pursuit of their higher well-being. Of all the attributes preserved in human nature, the quality of love is the most misrepresented and the least understood. When we learn that love can become active only in a soul that is pure, and that it does not cooperate with the errors of an artificial nature, then we may understand to what extent it has been counterfeited. True love emanates from the divine. It is the act of self-giving through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human being. Love is a complete unity with life, and only as the soul becomes conscious of its oneness with all that lives can it then express genuine love. When we realize that God and humanity are one, then we shall love humanity as an expression of God, and God as the life principle in all creation. The nature of true love is to give and to bless, as the sun gives its light and the flowers their fragrance. It does not demand or require anything in return. False love centers on itself. It is selfish, binding, and exacting. Since it is not genuine, it is narrow, shallow, temporary. To the degree that it influenced by the attending evils of criticism, condemnation, and jealousy, it will ultimately turn to hatred. False love gives only with the thought of getting something in return. It lives for itself and its own gratification. We indulge in counterfeit love when our love is confined only to certain individuals or groups, and when it is coloured by our tastes, opinions, and prejudices, when it is restricted by our customs, belief, social status, and nationality. People have always thought of love as something that can express itself at will. Thus we classify and segregate people according to our likes and dislikes. We show kindness and consideration to our intimates, but to strangers we can be cold and indifferent. We are taught to love our country, our religion, our way of thinking and living, while those who differ from us in nationality, in religious training, in custom and point of view, become the victims of our disdain and bitter aversion. Two opposing forces cannot flow from the soul at the same time. Love is the opposite of hatred, and it is contrary to the law of opposites for the vital energy of life to be malevolent and yet also benevolent. Therefore, as Jesus said, love your enemies, love even those that hate you. The emotion of love is an electro-manifestation from the brain that is stronger than that of hatred. Hence, it always overcomes hatred. When a soul is animated with love, it radiates the warmth of its feeling, and it blesses and inspires whomever it touches. And the object of its beneficence will reflect back that same ennobling influence to all that it meets. Most of you know that my children are grown up and about 2 foot taller than me. And my son is always saying to me, how can you say you love me when you moan about things? And I said, apart from the fact that that's a mother's job, it doesn't stop me loving you, but I don't have to like your behaviour. Particularly when he's driving very fast in a fast car. I think we confuse sometimes love with an all-encompassing energy which gives us the right to advise people how to live, how to grow, and how to behave, not just towards ourselves, but towards the rest of humanity. Now, if it were that easy, we wouldn't have a need for churches, societies, or groups. The problem is, each person on the planet at any one time is simply a soul in training. And you may ask, what is it training for? Well, encapsulated in every soul is an aspect of the divine. And the soul is working through many lives in order to bring that essence of the divine into the forefront of its life, for it to shine so brightly that people have no doubt that the God is within each one of us. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried parking at Sainsbury's or Tesco's, but I'm pretty sure God isn't there. Because if you're anything like me, you're usually muttering under your breath. But that's harmless. We're not really aiming any vitriol at someone. But as the reading points out, we do tend to judge people on their culture, their attitude, their belief system. In fact, within our own belief system, it wasn't that many hundreds of years ago that him and I would have been burnt at the stake. Isn't that true?
It's still possible. An angry crowd today.
The point being that because you appear different to other people, you must therefore not be worth the effort. We look around our world today and we see that often culture and religion are the two main forces of opposition, of causing pain and distress, disharmony, and worse. And yet what we have forgotten is that oneness. Whether you're 4'9" like me, or 6'1", or 2 or 3 like him, it matters not. What matters is the energy in here, the essence of the divine, the soul. It is exactly the same, regardless of where we come from and where we're going to. People get hung up on their beliefs in this, that and the other, and sad to say, some faiths and some religions espouse a very negative view of what we should be doing in this world today. And I always joke with a dear friend of mine that if I were God, I wouldn't be a very nice God. I wouldn't be very tolerant. And then I realised I was behaving exactly like the rest of the world. We judge, and we should not. For whatever someone does in their life, it is still their soul's individualised pathway. That soul is still growing, it's still learning, it's still coming to understand its role in humanity's future. Now, it may well be that long after you and I are dust and return to the spirit world, there will be some peace on this earth. But I'm not sure. Humanity breeds arrogance and ego. If we look at our own lives, we will find people that constantly disappoint and surprise us. We open our hearts to them and we want them to be the best they can be. And then they let us down. And what happens? We become negative. We become judgmental. Instead of trying to understand that that soul has perhaps tripped up on the pothole in life, or missed its step when climbing that ladder of growth, we start to look at them, judge them, question if we ever really knew them. I wish we had minds that were as all-encompassing and as compassionate as the God force obviously is. I sometimes think that when the God, whatever it is, looks down on us, it looks at a school full of naughty children who are tired and grouchy, who want always the biggest cake, the nicest blanket or pillow, who don't remember that we are supposed to be sharing these journeys, that we're supposed to be helping each other move forward. And yet, you know, when we do that positive thing, we reach out our hand of friendship or compassion, when we lift up another human being by the things we do or the words we say, when we come from the heart, not only does that person benefit, our own soul benefits. And let's not confuse that with arrogance. Oh, I'll do it for you because I'm better, I'm brighter, I'm richer, I'm stronger, I'm taller. No, do it from the heart. Because that's the one thing, along with the soul, that we all share. A heart that's full of compassion, that's full of love. And particularly when we approach this wonderful time of year, our thoughts turn to those we love, some who are still on the earth plane, many who've moved ahead of us to a greater life, a better understanding. But as we cast our minds back, there are many millions in our history of this world who have striven to move us forward, to help us understand, to make us more aware. And I'm not talking about a woke society. I'm talking about awareness. If we could interact with every other soul with kindness, with tolerance, with sympathy and compassion, all the journeys that we meet and make would be easier for all of us. My parents weren't spiritualists. They belonged to the Salvation Army. And my father was quite an astute old codger. And he used to look at some people with a very jaundiced eye and say things like, he only put his uniform on Sundays. And I know what he meant. The day that we're together celebrating our belief, everyone is good, kind and understanding. But come the next day, or a day after that, or a week after that, we're too busy living our lives, pushing our needs forward, pinching parking spaces outside someone's house, being rude to people in the shops. We forget very quickly, this journey is a lifetime's journey. In fact, it's an eternal journey, lifetime after lifetime. And each time we hope we've faceted that diamond of the God within us just a little bit more. We've given it another aspect to shine more positively. And we never know when it'll end. We never know when we will pass back home and say, lesson learnt, job done. Because, you know, there's a lot that don't even think about their commitment to each other. There are cultures, countries, individuals who are self-serving. And that's sad. How do we offset that? Well, there's this little thing, very old-fashioned, quite out of style these days, called prayer. And it's something, I don't know about you guys, but I do every night when I get in bed. Not kneeling, because I can't kneel and get up very quickly now. But once I'm in bed, I have a chat with the God force. And I look at the people I've met during the day. And I ask for their assistance to move forward in a positive manner. If they need healing, I ask for healing. And you know, if every one of us, every single one of us did that every day, at least once a day, think about the positive vibration we're sending up to the spirit world to use. Because although they do most of the work, they expect us to join in and work with them. Add our voices, our hearts, our thoughts, our words, our deeds into that positive collective energy so that it can be used. Think it won't work? I dare you to try it. I dare you to send it every day, at least once a day, to the God force, to the spirits ahead. Give them the power to move this world forward. And let's work together. Let's increase humanity's understanding. We are all in this together. There is no other choice. We've chosen to be here at this point in history to do our bit. Thank you, friends.
That's it. That's all we get, and that's all you need. Beautiful, Elaine. Thank you so much. Yeah, there was so much in there to take. And I do love that about the prayer, bringing that aspect in, because it is something we neglect. I always think of God as a bit like an Uber driver, or the spirit world as an Uber driver. They require us to make the booking. They require us to tell them the destination. And we forget that. Because quite often you hear, oh, Spirit will do it for me. Well, I know my team. They go, right. We've got to be that active part, that catalyst. And in and through prayer, ideal opportunity. And don't forget, prayers don't need to be big, complicated, full of fancy words. It just comes from the heart. Simplest prayer in the world, please help them. That is a prayer when it's sent out in that love.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We now move on to our piece of music for the day. If you wish to sing along, please do. Paul will be taking the collection for the further work of this, your church.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man.
Sorry about that. That's Elaine's favourite piece of music. I just thought I'd slip it in there. We can have it with going out music. There you go.
The first Noel, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping the sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. And by the light of that same star, 3 wise men came from country afar to seek for a king was their intent, and to follow the star wherever it went. This star drew nigh to the northwest, o'er Bethlehem it took its rest, and there it did both stop and stay, right over the place where Jesus lay. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Then entered in those wise men 3, for reverently praises to our heavenly Lord that hath made heaven and earth of naught, and with his blood mankind have bought.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was nice though.
Me and my three brothers used to go carol singing. We looked like the mafia. So I don't know if we got all that money just for the wonderful singing, which I doubt very much, or just to get us off the doorstep quickly before we kicked off. Happy days. Anyway, we now move on to that part of the service where, in and through the mediumship of all our demonstrators here, we offer you that evidence of eternal life. I word that carefully. We offer you the evidence. We can't make you believe. It's personal choice. But when you have these communications, when you have these memories stirred, when you can feel the presence of that loved one there, surely to you that is a good inkling that there is something there. There is something beyond all this. And not only is it there, we are part of it today, in today's world. So we owe it to ourselves, to our loved ones, to the philosophy of spiritualism to look into it. You know, we have the access to all the world's information now in our handheld devices. Just look into things, grow that germ, cultivate that knowledge. Because one day, you'll be glad you did. Trust me. So, should the lovely Elaine come to you? That requires us to be part of the conversation, does it not? Yes. Oh yes, oh yes, yes, yes. So, if you could respond, please, with a nice, clear
yes, no, maybe.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
Thank you.
Don't get this anywhere else, do you?
No, you don't.
Funny that.
You ought to be on the stage, darling.
I think I ought to be on something. Gallows, I think.
Of tranquilizers.
Okay,
Can I also add to what Lauren said? Your loved ones do not change their personality. So if they were a miserable old codger when they were alive, they will come back with that personality to get themselves recognised. Because there's no good if I bring this wonderful angel to you and you say, no, my dad was not like that. The personality is how they remember themselves and how you will remember them. So I will try and moderate their language on your behalf. Can I come to the lady in the brown jumper, please, sweetheart? May I speak to you? There have been two ladies stood behind you throughout the service, and I know I've got two generations. I've got a mother and a grandmother. And I have to say, the three of you do share a similar bone structure in the face. But I'm picking up your grandmother first, and she said, but personality is incredibly different. So I think your grandmother, from what she's showing me, she could be a bit direct at times. Would you understand that? And she's laughing at you because she said the energy softened as it came down the generations and it got to you and you're just a big marshmallow. Do you understand that? I know, though, that your grandmother, for all her directness, had a big heart. She was a lady of very strong principles and she wouldn't do harm. That was very much against the grain for her. In fact, I'd say, you know, that old-fashioned phrase, a good Christian soul. Do you understand that? I know from what she's showing me, life was not physically easy for her at times. And she's taken me to my joints and I feel she would have struggled with her joints because my fingers and my knees have suddenly aged very dramatically. But she always said a little prayer, if God could bear his son being on the cross, I can bear this pain. And that was very much how she lived her life. She measured her ability to overcome things against her Christian principles. Now, I know as she comes down to you, she's saying you're much more flexible. And she's talking about the subtle difference in our belief systems. But she said it is so wonderful to come back and communicate with you, because when she passed, I feel it was the door closed and I've got to wait now till they wake us all up at the end of time. And she said, and suddenly into her consciousness came this understanding, which she said, praise the Lord, it's been wonderful. Now, as she brings me down to your mother's energy, your mother was a great organiser, wasn't she? I feel she could have sorted out anyone, anywhere, anytime. And, if there was ever a family event, you knew that she would have her lines of rules, regulations, who does what, where, when and how. And, she's a bit like the timekeeper in the old days. You get 3 minutes to do that and 5 minutes to do the other. This lady has great qualities, very strong mental energy. And I know that as she's linking me with you, you two have similar organisational energy about you. Though your grandmother's still laughing, she's still a marshmallow. I'm not getting that away. So she's laughing at your soft, wonderful energy. But as your mother's coming in, she held so many of the family members together. Do you understand that? Because she put it down to organising things, but it was her way of just checking up on them, keeping an eye on them, making sure they weren't slipping by the wayside in loneliness or illness or unhappiness. And I know in her own life, because she's showing me back in time, she had her own measure of unhappiness. Do you understand that? And she just said to me, all I ever wished for my children was that they would be loved and happy and nurtured. And she said, I tried so hard to instill those qualities in them for the generations yet to come. So I know both these ladies were very principled. They didn't shove their beliefs down your throat. That's not what I mean. They lived their life according to their principles. Thank you. There's a gentleman just interrupting. He said, why let the women have all the fun? And I have a tall gentleman. I want to say he's 5'11" to 6 foot, ramrod straight back as he comes in. I feel, don't look for Dad. I feel I want to be on Dad's side, but I'm looking for an uncle who would have had what I call a military bearing. Do you understand that? Very straight. Okay, I can.
I didn't know my dad's side of the family.
Are you happy for me to bring him in?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Because I want to say he's lovely. Even he tells me he's lovely. That lovely straight bearing. If he wasn't military, he should have been, because very self-disciplined, very clear in his thoughts, energy processes. He didn't waste time. He didn't waste words, this man. And he's laughing because, does the one next to you belong to you, or have you just borrowed him? Okay, all right, thank you. Because he took his energy over to the gentleman next to you and he said, a bit like my friend there, doesn't waste time, energy or words. Do you understand that? If you do a job, do it right the first time, because you don't want to go back and fix it, okay? But he's also putting that before you in your spiritual work, because he says you will never do a job by half, my love, will you? No, because... Thank you, sir. He's saying that would be disrespectful to the God force, whatever it is. Let's do it with all our heart, all our mind, all our soul, here and now. And I know healing's a big vibration around you, and also around the gentleman. Just different sorts of healing, sir. Is that not true? Thank you. Because he's saying this to me. He said, we think you have to go there and it's got to be hands touching. No. There is so much to healing. The thought, the word, the action behind the deed, the intent. And I want to say on behalf of the spirit world, they thank you both so much for all that you do. And I know you're going to have, your grandmother's just laughing. She said, not just lots of presents under the tree, but you will have lots of presents. The difference, CE, around you at Christmas. God bless you. Thank you for working with me. Can I come to you, sweetheart? The lovely gentleman in the lovely jumper and scarf. Yes. Thank you. Okay. There's a man coming in and he just said, tell him I'm a big bear of a man. It was a man with a good set to his shoulders. Can I say that to you? And intelligent, direct, could be a little bit argumentative at times as he comes in. But because he believed he saw things so clearly, he didn't really want to listen to another viewpoint. Do you understand this? But he admits now, come on, darling. He said, as I got further down the line and realised I may not have been right, I did have the good grace to say, well, I'm rethinking my position. Do you understand this, gentlemen? Thank you. I want to say he was well educated, but he was also an educator to people in life. Do you understand that? Because I felt... very much he'd discover something and he had to share that knowledge. He had to share that excitement. Look, the cosmos is not what we thought it was. People are not what we thought they were. The soul is not what we thought it was. This, he's laughing, he said, I could have given Einstein a run for his money, you know, because he had that mind, asking questions all the time. Do you understand it? And I know as I come to your vibration on behalf of this gentleman, He said, you're just a nosy old Parker. Do you understand that? So I know this has to be a close link with you, this gentleman, because the two of you share a similar sense of humour. Do you understand this? I know too, though, he's quite right. You are nosy. You're inquiring of everything and everyone all the time. Thank you, darling. He said, you're a long time dead, you know. You've got to make the most of it here, now. Find out for yourself. Question things. Push the boundaries. And you've done that most of your career, he tells me. He said at times you could... We can't say that word on the platform. At times you could be a pain in the posterior to some of the people you worked with. Can I put it that way? Because you say, well, hang on a minute. Have you looked at it from this perspective? And with bad grace, they'd often go back and say, well, okay, he's got something there. But at times you had to be a bit persistent. Can I put it that way? I know too, around you, there's a lot of engineering energy. Do you understand this? And you must also know someone who was fascinated with trains, tracks, particularly going back into the steam period, because that's what I'm seeing, are steam trains going behind you. Yes, I won't forget that, sir. He said, but don't forget aeronautical engineering too. So you've known people with very strong inquiring minds into all these technical, mechanical and engineering energies. Thank you. Okay, I can see that. But he's also bringing in now a gentleman in army uniform. And I want to go back in time for that. Because whatever excitement this gentleman has in terms of inquiring, the other gentleman in the army uniform was pure discipline. Do you understand that? Never questioned anything. Might have had his own thoughts, but never questioned rules, regulations or guidelines. He was a true follower of what he had to do. Very strong commitment to the greater good, I have to say to you. In fact, yes, the first gentleman's just come back in and he said, the men that circulated in your family and in your friendship really all were very similar on one level or another. They asked the right questions at the right time from the right people. And even if the military energy was involved, they would find a way of saying, can I just question why we do that without challenging it? Do you understand? Yes, I see where you're going, sir. Because he's referencing very much the news this morning about a regime that's just been toppled and how in the military we still had a conscience. Do you understand that? And we would not follow what was wrong. Do you understand where he's going? And as he brings that energy into your life, I know there have been times in your material and physical life where you have been wronged. Can I put it that way? Yeah. And he said, but you had the good grace to take a deep breath, stand back and say, so be it. The truth will out. Do you understand? There's a lady now rushing in. She's a little bit taller than me, but she's much shorter than the first gentleman. And she's fussy in her energy. Do you understand that? She's got that scarf and she's tying it round your neck and she's wanting to organise you. So this feels like a mumsy sort of energy. Can I put it this way? But this lady also had a massive heart. She didn't like to judge anyone. She'd always try and find an explanation for the aberrant behaviour. That's how she puts it. She said, oh, well, it's the way they were brought up, darling, or there but for the grace of God go I, or you've got to understand what they've been through. This lady always wanted to give everyone a second, third, fourth and fifth chance. Do you understand? And it was pure compassion. I don't know that she ever was really angry in the true sense of the word anger. Do you understand? She could be irritated by things, but I can't feel anger in her energy. There's always compassion. And I know in her own physical life, it's almost like her batteries ran down towards the end. There was less and less of her and more tiredness and weariness. Do you understand that? And I know that saddened her personally because she said, I wanted to be your bright shining star till the very end. And she's getting very emotional now. And it'll ruin my mascara if I let her get in too close and just push her back a little bit. But the love that's there in the spirit world for you, the understanding and the commitment to you and to continue doing what you do is 101%. So never doubt you walk this path alone. In fact, it's very crowded sometimes, the number of people around you from the spirit world. So just take their love, take their guidance, and know they're watching over you. God bless you, sweetheart. Thank you. Can I come to the lady right behind you? You're sat like that, darling. Okay, no, that's all right. I don't take it as a challenge. Don't worry. The spirit world have been stood with you since we came in. I've got two ladies either side of the family. So I'm going to grandmother generation, both sides. I feel okay. So you're going to have to think about this, all right? Because I feel you know one better than the other. Is that correct? All right. Okay. Well, then you definitely know one better than the other. Okay. All right. Well, let me just get them in. I want to go to the one that you know quite well, because this feels like mother's side. I need to put it that way, because it has that sort of organising, caretaking energy about it. Would your maternal grandmother be the one you were more familiar with, please? All right. Well, let me find out why she stood that side. Right, I'm not going to change it because she is this mumsy energy. She won't let me alter her vibration. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to bear with me. Thank you. Okay, she's saying you may not remember or recognise her energy. She said, but the apple never falls very far from the tree. Has that not occurred to you? Okay, she's saying to you, the vibration in you, your energy, your personality, your mumsiness, your care, your nurturing, very much reflects how this lady behaved in life. Okay, she said, I'm not saying the other side didn't care. Let's make that clear from the start. She said, but they were great at taking care of people, taking care of you, organising things, putting things straight. In fact, I bet you never went to school looking a mess, did you? No, you didn't. You always had shoes and coats, she's showing me. Okay. Don't be rude. I'm not going to say what she said. I'll tell you that bit later. Because she's saying we gave the image of always being well taken care of from the other side of the family. Do you understand that? Because it was to do with how we looked when we left the house, how we looked when we walked down the street. That was important to your father's side of the family. So there was a sense of pride about themselves. Do you understand this? Say if you don't, it's not a problem. I'm not offended. Maybe. You haven't trained them well enough. Right. Okay. I'm not going to lose the lady on mother's side because she's the stronger energy. Okay. And although you didn't particularly know her, okay, she is showing me the vibration down that side of the family is what makes you the caring, nurturing person you are. On the other side, I've got the self-discipline, the organisation, the pride in themselves, and not an ego sense, but about doing the right thing and being the right sort of person. So do you understand those distinct personalities?
I understand where you're coming from.
Okay, as long as you're understanding how it's put. My perspective may not be how they want it to come across. Well, I need to stay with Mum's side for a moment, because what this lady is saying to me is there's more to you than meets the eye, because you don't like people to see how soft and open you can be at times. It's important to you that you come across with a certain amount of discipline. Thank you, I know, yes, I know. She's saying to me, she reminds you of your headmistress, doesn't she? And I'm going, yes, she does. So I know there is a need for an image, okay? And that comes very much from the pride in family that was on the other side. It was important to them not to look uncared for, not to look the poorest, the weakest. They had this, it's not an arrogance, it is a real pride in themselves. Let's give the best image that we can. And those have encapsulated in you. So I know what they're both saying to me is the work that you do is because you're very proud of what you believe in. Do you understand that? And that you put into what you do spiritually all the effort in the world, because you will not shortchange the God force or those on the earth plane. Can I put it to you? Yeah. I know too that reading and writing is very important in your life, because they're showing me you must at times write down thoughts or feelings or reactions, because they're showing me you're scribbling away furiously at times. Good. It's not junk, right? It's not junk, because what the ladies what the ladies are both saying to me is that has become your personal profile spiritually, and that will help someone else. Thank you. Because both of them are getting quite, not incensed with us, but they're frustrated by the fact everybody thinks that to be on a spiritual pathway, you've got to have a halo and wings. Rubbish. You know, we're not going to be an angelic being until we've passed. Whilst we're here, we've got to be the blinking best human being we could be, with a soul that cares. And they're saying, so let's not have all this airy-fairy nonsense about wonderful spiritual beings. Let's be a good human being, knowing the spirit within never changes. It's there anyway. We can't lose that part of our nature. It's inherent in us. Now, I know you've had to speak out on that subject very recently, they're showing me. You've not had to speak in anger. It's been more an explanation. I don't think you understand quite what I mean. Do you understand where this is, please? It's in your daily life. It's not in the church. Well, the lady in orange is nodding. Shall I give her the message?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the spirit world were there listening to you because you found a way of putting across the words without being critical or cruel. Do you understand that?
Try.
Yeah. You did a pretty good job, my darling. Thank you. Would you understand, they just quickly flashed in a naval uniform. Would you understand where there is a link with the Navy going back, please?
Not relation. Not blood relation.
No, that's all right. I don't mind if they're not a Navy. But you understand a link with the Navy. Do you know, the spirit world know what they're doing, but our audiences don't.
No. I get a bit confused as well at times, so you don't stand a chance, really.
Yeah. To be honest, I've always joked that we need to train our audiences because the spirit world remember everything. They've got eternity. They're reflecting on everything. We struggle day to day to remember what we're doing. So I'm not having a go at you, darling. I'm teasing you. Because what the spirit world have is the best sense of humour in the world. You've only got to look at the people they choose as mediums. For God's sake, you know, would you choose us too on a good day? Anyway, both these ladies are very impressed with your sensitivity, your ability to not give offence. Because there are times, she said, thank you, the one on the right saying to me, there are times you wish you could take them around the back of the bike sheds and just give them a big clout. Isn't that true? Yeah, exactly. She said, but you overcome that and you put into practice your spiritual awareness. Thank you, I do understand that. The lady on the right is talking to me about someone who used to be involved in, what do we used to call them? Oh gosh, come on. Like old ladies who made jams and jellies and sold them on behalf of churches and things. WI and that. So you must have had childhood memories of someone in your neighbourhood who was heavily involved in that, please. No, she's saying.
No.
You don't remember. All right. I want you to look where your mother is and you'll find that there's a connection with WI type energy, please. Ah. Oh, I do love people like you. You just make us work harder. No, darling, it's wonderful. As I say, I love the fact the spirit world don't forget anything. But these ladies are very powerfully around you because I feel your writings need to be put to good use, okay? It's not for you to hide away in a drawer. It's for you to get used in things like church newsletters, maybe thought for the day, something along that line, okay? So you're not writing because it's just struck you. You're writing because the spirit world are impressing you, please. So use them. Put them to good use. God bless you. Thank you. Can I come to you, sir, please?
Yeah.
You look really worried by that. Don't worry. They never tell us your bank account numbers. No way. Okay. Thank you. I have a lady coming in on father's side of the family, and I want to... that's the wrong word, darling. I want to... dear, oh dear. She could get her words muddled up. Do you remember Hilda Baker?
Yeah.
Nellie Pledge? This lady's a little bit like that because she wanted to say she was a bit of a diva in the family, but she actually said dominatrix, and that's not a diva. Do you understand that? So I know she got her word muddled. All right, in you come, sweetie. The lady's about 5'7". She's showing me she's got curly hair. It's a dark grey. It's not a light grey. She was quite fussy about her perms. She's telling me because she's crimping her hair. I feel that she was very strong physically, because she always seems to have energy to do things. And I feel that long after someone had gone to bed, she'd still be ploughing away, doing the things that ladies always did of that age group. Would you understand a grandmother's energy along those lines, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, let me bring her in close. She's laughing now. She said, your doorkeeper's just told me what dominatrix means, because it's not something that was in her alphabet and vernacular. She's quite embarrassed now, bless her cotton socks. Thank you. Come on, sweetie. Can I say that you and her are really both very strong personalities? And I feel that you'd have listened to this lady when you were young, and you would have been quite intrigued by some of the things she talked to you about as a young person. Do you understand that? It wasn't all nursery rhymes and what you're having for tea and who's being a good boy. There was a real energy about this lady's mind. I'm not saying she was well educated, but she was very inquiring about people and the things they did in life. And I feel very much when she looked at her community where she lived, she'd be quite nonplussed by some of the things she saw happening. She'd say, why in God's name did they do that? What on earth possessed them? And that inquiring, needing to know about personality, needing to know about people was very much instilled in you. I want to be below the age of 7 when you'd be thinking those same things. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And I want to say to you, sir, you've been the sort of person that if you're not a psychotherapist, you jolly well should be, because you are able to look at aberrant behaviour and see the root cause. Do you understand this? Because I can go back in the energy and you'd think, yeah, I can see that age 14, that person went through that trauma. And here we are, age 35, and we're now reaping the benefit or the lack of a particular input. I know that whatever you do work-wise, you express that same understanding of where people are coming from. Do you understand where I'm going?
Yes, but I'm retired.
Oh, don't tempt the spirit world, for God's sake, because they like to give out lots of work. You have work to do. And in your work, there is an element of philosophy, of educating people, not just about why behaviour is what it is, but how we have reached the level of understanding in the whole of the, the metaverses, the universes, the cosmos, the whole vibrational energy that we now work with. Do you understand?
Yes.
And I know around you there has to be that when you were working then, has to be that same, I need to know how this ticks, I need to know why that screw fits that hole, I need to know why that turns this way and not that way. Do you understand this? And that's going to be used in your future path, I've got to say to you. So your understanding of human nature, your almost mechanical engineering bent is all coming into use. He's something to do with you, they're just telling me.
I beg your pardon?
He's something to do with you. Is he in your group?
It's just rumour.
Because they suddenly just went whoosh and landed the energy in your lap. Is this gentleman connected with your group?
Not yet.
Right.
We've had one session.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Sunshine. The door's shut, you're not getting out. The spirit world take every willing soul that they can get their hands on to work. And do you know, the wonderful thing is once you start this work, it is so exhilarating, so exciting, and you never doubt the love, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Never doubt the love that's there from the spirit world for you. So I'm going to say, Sunshine, you're on your pathway now, okay? And don't think she's sitting there doing nothing either, all right? Because they bring us all together. They bring us all in. You've got the most amazing colour vibrations running through your aura at the moment. Yeah, and I know art and colour have an energy for you. Do you understand that? Well, there you go. First psychic artist in training, all right? Honestly, you two guys together will bring a wonderful energy. In fact, I'm not allowed to predict, sweetheart. We can't do that. Let's just say sometime in the future, you will work from a given space together, all right? And when that happens, you can come back and tell me all about it. But God bless you. Thank you for working with me. And I'm being called to time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I didn't get round more of you, but thank you for being here and sharing this experience.
Lovely. Trying not to startle him, all right? I was trying to be underhand and subversive.
Yeah, but you can't be. The spirit world like everything up front and
Yeah, I
shown.
just get the feeling he's going to be like a deer and bolt.
No, he's not. You're going to make sure he doesn't bolt, darling, aren't you? You're going to keep him on a short leash.
Yeah, you've got till February.
Well, you're not going to the spirit world then. They've told me they're locking the gates in February.
I'm going to France.
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. They can still get over there. Sorry.
Do you mind? Sorry, can I interrupt? Few notices. Tomorrow evening is our healing evening. If you'd like to receive healing from the church healers, please be here for 7:15. Church healers, if you're here for 6:45, that would be wonderful. Tuesday evening we have a gong bath with Scania Price. On Friday online we have the Working Mediums Forum in Zoom. So that is just a place for any working mediums just to come together in an online forum to talk about the muggles. No, it's not. It's just to come together and support each other and share thoughts. So that's at 7 o'clock on Friday online. Saturday night online again at 7 o'clock we have our Lyceum evening. And this week we have Phil Dykes and Kerry MacLeod as our guests. Next Sunday at 11 a.m, Angie Freeland will be taking our service, and after which the raffle will be drawn. So there's going to be cakes and hot drinks involved, maybe even beer. Christmas Eve, we have our Christmas Eve service at 5 o'clock, lasting for approximately an hour. It's just that lovely little pause before the onslaught of Christmas. So if you can come down, it'd be great. It's just that, okay, here we go. The shops are shut. If you haven't got it, you ain't going to get it, unless you're a burglar. And if you are, I'll have a list. Christmas Day, reminder, 12 till 3. We are open to anybody who is struggling at this time, who's feeling isolated or alone. Please don't be at Christmas. Please don't. I speak from experience. Christmas on your own is not the best. Seriously not. So thank you to the generosity of everybody here in the church and all those online as well, who's supplying a wonderful Christmas dinner for everybody. 3 courses if you wish. We're catering for carnivores and vegans alike. So it will be a dry day though, no alcohol, because some people have other things going on in their life, so no alcohol. You can go 3 hours without a drink. I'm sure you can. I know I can, but God help you at 3:05. On December the 28th, which is a Saturday night, there is an evening of mediumship, and that's with Mark Stone and myself. And then on New Year's Eve, we have 2 gong bars for you, 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. If you'd like to come along to either of those, please go on Scania's website to do the booking. If you're struggling with that, give me a shout and I'll do it for you. But I'm not paying it for you, all right? So, lots of things coming up. Elaine, my darling, can I ask you for the closing blessings?
Only if I can ask one last thing, please. I've been very naughty. I need to get off the platform. 2 seconds.
Hold on.
There's a lady that says I've got to do this.
What's clouting around here?
Your lady's been stood here and she said, give him a kiss from me.
Oh.
And I've left my lipstick behind so you can show them. She said, you didn't think I'd forget you this close to Christmas. God bless you, thank you. Sorry.
That's all right, don't apologise for that.
Yeah, my fault.
She didn't say give him a kiss, she said give him a clout round here. Let's be honest.
Can we come together for the last time, dear friends? Thank you so much for being here. And now, dear Lord, we hand this wonderful service, this energy that you have created, the love you have brought, back into your hands until once more we can come together again. Let each one of us take a small slice of it, carry it into our daily lives, and reflect on it when we are at home on our own, reminding ourselves that in every home there will be a light that is part of your love. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Elaine, thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful service, as always, but thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. It's been wonderful to see you. Apologies, I'm a bit quiet today. I'm just getting over the tail end of one of these bugs that is going around, and I'm afraid my head is like cement at the moment, so Please don't think I'm just being rude or my normal self, grouchy. I just can't think straight, so never mind. Elaine, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Wow.
It is. It's own woman's club, yeah.